Well, we're going to take another whirl at complex fractions with the same lowest common denominator, simplifying those. And this time we're going to use a different technique or a different method, and that is that we're going to find all the lowest common denominators, find the lowest common denominators for all of the terms that are in the complex fraction, and then multiply each term by that lowest common denominator, which will cancel out all of the denominators within the complex fraction. And we got about 4 of these we're going to look at. So let's see if we can't get through it fairly quickly. So our first one, we got 1 plus 2x divided by 3 over y minus 4 over x. So let's look at what our denominators are. Now in this first, is up in the numerator, the 1, well, the denominator there is just 1, so we don't really have to concern ourselves with that. But here we got an x, and here we got a y, and then we got another x. And so our lowest common denominator for all of this is xy. So we're going to multiply every term in this complex fraction by xy. And so here we have, so we got xy times 1 plus 2 over x times xy divided by xy times 3 over y minus 4 over x times xy. Well, 1 times xy is just going to give us xy. I think we can all agree on that. And then we got 2 over x times xy. Well, my x and my x right here are going to cancel out. And so that's going to leave us with plus 2y. And that's going to be our numerator of this complex fraction. And then in the denominator, we got xy times 3 over y. Well, my y's are going to cancel here. So then we're left with x times 3, or 3x, minus, and then we've got 4 over x times xy. Well, our x's are going to cancel. And negative 4 times y is negative 4y. And so simplifying this complex fraction, it simplifies to xy plus 2y over 3x minus 4y. And we have simplified that. Now, let's look at another one. All right, this time we got 1 over d minus d over c divided by 1 over c plus 6. And so like in this first case with our 1, our 6 here, the denominator is just 1, 6 over 1, if you will. So we don't have to concern ourselves with that. But here we got a d in the denominator and a c in the denominator and then another c down here in the denominator. And so again, we're going to multiply every term in this complex fraction by cd. And so here we go. We got CD times 1 over D. Well, our D's are going to cancel right here. And C times 1 is just going to give us C. And then we got minus or negative D over C times CD. Well, my C's cancel here. And then I got minus D times D. Negative D times D. That's negative D squared. Okay, well, we've simplified our numerator, at least to this point. And then we've got CD times 1 over C. Once again, my C's are going to cancel. It's going to leave us with D times 1, or just D. And then we got positive 6 times CD, so we got plus 6CD. And that's an acceptable answer right there. But one thing we could do, we could, in that denominator, factor out a D. And if we did, we could also express this as 6 minus d squared over d times 1 plus 6c. And so either one of those would be acceptable answers, depending on how far we're going to simplify this. Let's just really quickly look at a couple of more. Okay, so we've got 1 over x, excuse me, 1 over y plus 1 over x divided by 1 over y minus 1 over x. Well, we got a y in the denominator, we got an x in the denominator, and down in the bottom we got a y and an x, but we're going to multiply every term. Our lowest common denominator is xy. So xy times 1 over y, the y's cancel. 1 times x is x. Then we got plus 1 over x times xy. Our x's cancel out. And 1 times y is, positive 1 times y is just y. That's our numerator. And then our denominator, our xy times 1 over y, our y's cancel. X times 1 is x. And then I got negative 1 over x. The x's cancel. And negative 1 times y is negative y. And our answer there is simplified, or I should say, simplifying this original complex fraction is x plus y divided by x minus y. One more, I know you can't wait. All right, so we got a over b plus 1 divided by 1 minus b over a. Well, like we saw in a couple of other examples, with these two 1s right here, the denominators are just 1. So we don't really have to concern ourselves with that part of it. But I do have a b here, and I got an a here in denominators of this complex fraction. And so we're going to multiply every term within that complex fraction times ab, or a times b. And so starting in our numerator, we got ab times a over b. My b's cancel. I got a times a, well, that's a squared. And then I got plus 1, positive 1, times AB. Well, that's just going to be AB. And let's hit the denominator right quick. We got AB times 1. Well, that's going to be AB again. And then we got negative B over A times AB. Our A's cancel up here. And we got negative B times B, which is going to give us negative B squared. And so once again, we could factor out, in the numerator, we could factor out an a, and if we did, we'd have a times a plus b. And in our denominator, we got ab minus b squared. We could factor out a b, a positive b, and we then have would be b over a minus b. And again, either of these could be acceptable answers, depending on how far you're being asked to simplify that. So there we go. There's 4 examples of complex fractions with the same LCDs, and we are simplifying now. Second method. All right, well, there's nothing like that. Nothing more fun than stuff like that. Keep your head about you. Keep your chin up. You can handle it.